So if you watched the whole interview and you made it to the end, you would know that maybe the way he kind of redeems himself is when you hear from his point of view of, look, when I've given interviews before, people taking advantage of me, people twist what I say. I've had so many people betray me or take something I say and turn it the wrong, most terrible way. So yeah, when I go to a place, my guard's up. So yeah, when you first asked me that question, yeah, I took it the wrong way because you don't know how many millions of dollars or endorsements I lost, and you have no idea all the trouble and stuff I've gone through to get to where I am. So yeah, I've got a high defense. I don't know why you wanted me on this interview. Maybe you were trying to catch me in something so your ratings would go up, and that's all that you care about. You don't care about how that's going to affect me or my charities or these other things that I'm running. And hey, it's not, I'm just looking out for myself. Hey, if my ship goes down, all the people who are on my ship go down too. When I see you attacking me, I also see you attacking them. So yes, I'm going to get defensive. Hey, you're bringing me on. You're aware of what just happened to Kanye, that this week he got canceled. I just saw his ship start to go down. So yeah, I'm on high alert looking for any type of thing I say or you get me to say that could make my ship go down. So at best, that's his defense. Like, okay, from a secular point of view, or if you don't look at the Bible, some of that makes sense. All right, but if you're saying you're of the light, you bring this light, things I've seen that he's a Christian or claims to be a Christian, you have to go with, okay, you can't just do with what makes sense. You have to go with, well, what does the book say? And how does the book say how we're supposed to communicate even when we are being persecuted? What does the book say about when someone slaps you across the face? What does the book say about when people are slandering you and gossiping you? What are the fruits of the Spirit? Gentleness, kindness, self-control, even God. He's slow to anger. Even if God has a long fuse, but yet when that fuse gets all the way to the end, he can blow, but it is a long fuse. At the start of the interview, if you're getting combative, that's not a long fuse. Even if you go, hey, there are some times when a Christian can get that way. Okay, but that would be over a long time, or something very dramatic, or someone pulls out a gun, not at the beginning of an interview. So I think it's very different if you go, wait a second, there might be times when you can do that. Yeah, there might be exceptions, but it doesn't mean now all the time you've got a license where you can now use that at any time that you want. Just because a police officer is given a gun and they're told, hey, under extreme circumstances you can use it, doesn't mean every time they pull someone over they can just shoot them in the head. In Philippians, when it talks about how we shine like the stars, it's by not arguing, not grumbling. It's not, we don't shine like the light just because we get very reactive, especially when it's about our own ego. Then that's no different than the world. They were attacking me, so yeah, I defended myself. Well, that's no different than the world. There's nothing supernatural. There's no divine intervention about that. What would make you different to show that, oh, you have the Spirit living inside you is when, as someone who hasn't been born again, when normally they would get defensive, when they would start defending themselves. Well, when you're in that same situation and you don't, because you go, okay, vengeance is the Lord, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to start displaying some of the fruits of the Spirit, so that way people get interested in this fruit and they want to know more about the Spirit because they see the fruit hanging and they go, that looks nice, I want some of that. But if you have the same rotten fruit as the world of, oh, you attack me, I'm going to attack you back, or I'm going to even attack you preemptively first. That's rotten fruit. And not only is it rotten, but it's everywhere. That's all over the world. Love's gone cold. Everyone can see that fruit. There's nothing attractive about that. If you're saying, hey, I'm of the light, when I go, where I go, there's hope. People see me as this inspiration, then you should be living differently than most people in that situation. You should be the exception. And the exception would be, hey, you're not quick to quarrel or grumble over stupid things, especially if it's only about you and your own ego. It'd be a different thing if you're quarreling or you're arguing about something of God. When Jesus got upset, it's, hey, you've turned my Father's house into a den of thieves. He had a zeal for things that were of God. When it's stuff about like, hey, why are you looking at me like I'm a commodity? And when it's kind of just like about your ego, even if you're not just going, hey man, like that's cool, like I'm just a man, you should be just as excited to talk to me as any other man. And I know you tried to go like, oh, that's what I was doing, but it really wasn't. It was like, hey, no, you're looking at me like a commodity. You were getting defensive over like your ego. That's something where like, oh, you get slapped in the face, turn the other cheek. But maybe he said something and you go like, hey, that's not what the Bible says, and you had a righteous zeal about that. Okay, that's more understandable. I think the interview displayed satanic influence over someone. where they can't take any admission of fault in themselves and they see fault in everything and everyone else. And you could quickly dismiss some of his faults, but he probably was right when he's going, hey, the NFL is evil. Even the fact that you want me on this interview only because I'm famous, and it's sick and it's gross that people will only tune in because I'm a famous football player. And so you, the interviewer or the host, like, you're sick for inviting me on. The audience is sick that they want to hear what I have to say. And if I was just a regular Joe, they wouldn't want to listen. And there's something wrong with all of humanity, that's how we are, that we put just because I can catch the football well and run well, that makes me more important than somebody else. Even though the way he was saying things could be very off-putting or very rude, it doesn't mean that underneath that he had some valid criticisms. And I think the devil always will. He's the accuser of the brethren. And if there's one thing about humans, is none of us are good. We all fall short. We all make so many mistakes. So he's got plenty of legit accusations. He can go to God and go, why do you like these people? They do that. He's right. But he doesn't take into account humans got so bad because you tricked them. You're the one tempting them. Or you're the one who caused them to disobey by eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Or the devil will never take responsibility for. Antonio Brown never goes, oh, you know what, maybe I did make a mistake here. It's always, I'm so brilliant, I did everything so right, everyone was out against me. Even if you disagree with the guy, or I'm going, oh, it's satanic, some of it probably is true. The world isn't a very nice place. There aren't going to be that many people that have your back or out there helping you. Most people are selfish and self-involved. Who knows how he is outside of this interview, but just in this interview, when he keeps going, hey, I'm the light. When people see me, they see hope, they see the light. Well, the devil appears as an angel of light. Outside of God, yeah, everyone, it's dog eat dog. But if he's saying he's a Christian, he's the light, now I'm going to start comparing you to the book, because if you're saying, hey, you're part of the book, now we can look at the book and look at your life and see how it fits. It doesn't matter if the world's over here and they go, they're not looking at the book. Okay, then we don't judge them into this yet. But if you're saying I'm of the book, now here's the book, we overlap it, and now we're looking, where do you fit in the lines, where do you not? Philippians 2, verse 3, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others. In your relationship with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in the very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. Being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. About him, keep saying he's the light, he's the hope. Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault, in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. So how are you bright? How are you light? According to the book, when will you shine among them like stars in the sky? When you aren't grumbling and arguing over stupid stuff. And right from the get-go, he's going, I don't like how you introduced me and throwing fits and all this. Hey, you're not going to be shining like the stars by doing that, according to the book. Even if you're going to go like, hey, I appreciate it. You know what? It makes me think. I know you want me on here because I'm famous and I've caught footballs. Because what I really want to lift up is, the everyday man who goes to work, provides for his family, provides for his neighborhood. And I want him to know that even though I'm famous, that I don't think there's anything more special about me than you. Or how about, if you bring me on, how about you have a couple of them in here too? And it'll be like an open discussion. So even if he wanted to make that point, there's ways he could have made that point without being grumbling or complaining. Going right at Patrick's throat.